You've made it to discussion board 1. Thank you. We're going to do this. I know you've got this. First off, if you ever have any questions, don't be afraid to text the number I've put on there or email me. I want you to do well, believe me. Okay, in discussion board 1, we're short on time, so we don't have time just for a whole discussion board on introducing yourself. So your discussion board 1 will have 3 parts. In about 20 words, tell us who you are and put whatever you can in that 20 words. All right, that's just a brief introduction. And then you're going to have 80 words to do a music critique. And then in your last, I'm trying to look at this, your last, what I've actually got on here, last 50 words of the requirement for discussion board 1, you're going to talk about Tin Pan Alley. So all of this, we have to talk about the mechanics of music because it's a music class. So I don't want you to get scared. This is geared towards non-musicians. It doesn't have to be technical, but we are going to talk about the volume of music, which has to do with dynamics. And all this is written out, okay? Tempo, how fast or slow something is. So, and then rhythm, is it like slow and plods along, or is it upbeat? It's got a catchy kind of tune to it. That's a simple way. Rhythm has to do with the beat. Melody has to do with the tune of something. So some of these are oversimplifications. You also need to talk about what instruments you may hear. Does this song have instruments and nothing else? If so, it's just an instrumental. Does it just have vocals? People singing. If so, it's just a vocal. If it's a little bit of both, it's a piece with vocals and instrumental. So you're not going to have to get too crazy, and I don't grade really hard. But one thing I don't put up with is plagiarism. If you need to get some insight from another place, you do need to document that and cite it in some way, because we're here to learn, and we're here for you to express your opinions, learn how to put it down, do research, although I do put research links and everything. Now, as much as I try to make sure those are live links, some of them are just going to show up and misbehave and embarrass me. But I want to tell you, you are not prohibited from doing your own research. I'm just there to guide you a little bit. So anyway, we're talking about jazz. I don't want to talk about Louis Armstrong too much. This is different than Music 110, and we talked about him during that time. We also talked about Scott Joplin from Ragtime, but they were still living during the early 20th century, and their impact on music was major. First off, at the turn of the century, from like 1899 to the early 1900s, people were listening to opera, and they were listening to march music by such greats as John Philip Sousa. But once again, we talked about them in Music 110, and this is a special topic about American popular music on from the early 1900s. But there's no denying the impact that Louis Armstrong and Scott Joplin made on American popular music. So, of course, the young kids, they like that jazz, and they like something they could dance to. And, older people were a little bit further coming around on it, but they did. And pretty soon, it was all in American culture. So the 20th century is a very interesting time. We had a number of wars, conflicts, financial downturns and upturns. We had prohibition. So it's a very colorful era. So I want you to do the best you can. If you've got questions, don't hesitate to ask me. And you know what? If you made it this far, write me or text me and let me know, because there's 10 points extra credit in it. And if you need it on that final project, because your grade is 4 discussion boards and a final project. The 4 discussion boards are worth 90% of your grade, and the final project is worth 10. Now, don't just go telling everybody to, write Professor Sullivan and tell her that you watched it. No, because I might ask them another question. You do it. You tell me. Now, you can encourage your classmate to do that, but don't give the secret away, okay? You watched it to this end. You deserved it. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.